This is a new video from Beaufort, and it pains me greatly to post this video, but this is the two fishes right video. Said it. That sometimes the tier 2 Aranna strat works. It sometimes works. You're not going to hear me say it's a great strat. You're not going to hear me say that it's a be-all, end-all amazing tier 1 strat. But sometimes, especially when you don't have murlocs in a lobby, you can bully a lobby to a point where the tempo strats win out and somebody has to win the lobby because Aranna's really strong in the mid game and other heroes that may have defaulted to running tempo strats bully everybody out of the lobby. And guess what? When you get in those scenarios and there's no poison in the lobby, Aranna's pretty damn good. Enjoy. Would 3 mana hero power make him viable? Better, for sure. It'd be the same cost to buy a triple as everyone else. The problem is the turns you need the triples, like the 7 mana turn, or sorry, turn 7, what is that? 9 mana turn? You don't ever have that extra mana sitting around. So you're dumping your board effectively to get a 5-star. I think it's a designer's Hail Mary to make Grubber great again. Could be. Could be. Generally, you take the highest tempo things up front with Aranna. Tokens don't really matter. But this is basically the same power, right? We really want to preserve as much life early game as we can while getting online with the elemental strat. So for those of you that haven't been here for this experiment that we're doing, Aranna tier 2 strat going for elementals, hard going for elementals, is showing a positive win rate, or at least a 4.5 win rate at top tier. Whether or not that is truly a viable strategy, yet to be proven, but we're messing around with it to see how it works. But basically the viewpoint on the strat is you preserve as much life as humanly possible in the early game. Because you're going to be strong on turns like 5, 6, somewhere in that range through like turn 11. Those are your good strong turns. And then you start to hemorrhage because you will never be able to scale with people that go and get 5 and 6 stars. Scaling 5 and 6 stars. So with that in mind, you're basically playing an Outlast game. You become strong. You're kind of like Dancing Daryl when you hard commit to like Tavern 3 dancing, where you get strong through the mid game, you let other people die, and then you die off later. Like, what the fuck, guy? He takes a Wrathweaver with no demons? I don't know. We're seeing some really weird shit this morning. People staying on 1. So, first of all, it's a WAG toggle, so who knows? Alright, so we high rolled right out the gate. Alright. 2 beasts, which means it's going to be a 50-50 for us to go first. He's going to have a Divine Shield on the first guy, the taunt, so we always put the 1/1 up front. Hey, Cruel. How you doing, dude? I always like to say hey to people when they come in. How you doing this fine morning? I kind of ignored that you were first time kind of like posting around this while I answered your question. You know, like normal people do, but whatever. X-Foo-Foo up there, dude. I got your question eventually. You can filter the stats for high ELO players. What you can do is filter it by different rating ranges. And what I mean by that is, if you have the premium version of HS Replay, you can filter by data for the top 50% of players, data by the top 1% of their logged players. And this is what we're going off of, the top 1%. I will show why this is interesting in just a second. We're gonna hemorrhage hard if we don't buy this. I think we always buy it. Like, it's gonna be a bad round. This is a Lich staying on 2. She will have an extra minion on us. We don't want to lose all our hit points, because if we dropped it to like 20 before we get online, we can just die on turn 10 or 11. The first person that gets online will just annihilate us. I'm good, man. Thanks. Yeah, dude. So, look, if you look at all players and you find Aranna, I know where she is now. I don't have to search. 4.92 average for all players. Likewise, I'm going to do an abridged version of this. As you go up in rank, like, Aranna doesn't really move. 4.97. I showed all of them this morning. If you want to go back on the stream and see all of them, you can. Aranna at top 5%, 4.93. But if you jump to just the top 1% of players, she's right here at 4.5. She's jumped half a rank. Lost that too. Yep. Alright, we're staying on 2. We really need to find party elementals and rocks. But for right now, we will make do with what we have. Gross. We need to get our refreshes in anyway. I played them in this order because we want anything that isn't a Celemental to get the buffs up front. That way it stays on the board. Like the Celemental is the first thing we sell off, right? For short term, we may keep a refreshing anomaly around. It's a decent stat line. The 1-3 to start, it gets a couple buffs. It actually double trades, right? Just got back. Could you explain that Aranna thing again? TLDR, the Aranna thing is that Aranna may be viable at top tier. Every other range other than the top 1% is showing that she doesn't work. The top 1% showing very few games is showing that she's about a 0.5 better than the average on all of the other lists. Does it work? And Two Fish is right. Dude, I'm still not convinced. Like, I get you. You like to be right on this thing, but I don't think it's right still. Even with all that information, I think it's a low sample size, and we're going to see her drop to like 4.4 or 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. Like I said, first time I said this today. Right, that's a triple, but it's like we don't even care. That's a triple as well. First thing I said today on the subject was, look, we just saw this happen. I could have played that. We just saw exactly what we were describing happen with Malagos last patch. Malagos appeared to be a really good hero because he popped up on the list immediately at 4.3. Same deal with... I'm kind of losing track of my train of thought here as I try to preserve some life in the mid game. Okay, we saw the same thing with the Shutterwalk this patch, or no, that last patch. When he popped up on the top 1%, he was a 4.2, but then dropped to both of them dropped to 5.0 on the top 1% over the course of about a week. So we will see. That being said, if you look at the 7-day average, Aranna's pretty decent. Pretty decent. I think there's a little something there. It's inconclusive. Here you go from earlier. Two Fish was right. There's definitely something there. My insistence that it doesn't work at all is definitely wrong. All right, we're tossing this back. Might as well take the buffs on these guys. I'm going to toss you as well. It's a 2/2 buff for 1 mana. I think we do it. I know Two Fish is trolling most of the time, but people need to get a lot better at interpreting data. This data point doesn't mean anything by itself. It means that by itself, 9.4% of games where the hero is offered in approximately 60% of the lobbies, 70% of the lobbies, on a sample size of 4,600 games, means that over the course of approximately 1,500 games or so, Aranna is showing slightly below average hero. Pretty much every hero can be played within, like, you know, a couple standard deviations above whatever her average performance is, his or her average performance. This doesn't mean much by itself. It means we need to look at it more. There is a little bit more support that says, yes, this could be the case. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I have voted. Sample size needs to be bigger. You need a larger portion of people playing. It could be just, you know, the 3.0 average type players at the top of the lobby or the game are the only ones playing it right now. They're saying it's decent. That doesn't mean that it's decent everywhere. It doesn't mean that it's decent, you know, when more people play those type of strats. Don't know. It's a lot of what ifs. I'm not taking that right now. We have the whole turn to buy. We really, really want to drop out of some of these elementals. Drop you. Drop you. The fact that we're keeping this thing around is a little upsetting, but what choices do we have? First buff, I probably should have played with both Molten Rocks on the board. Lower likelihood of this getting hit. So we got a macaw. This is really important. We finally got a macaw. Macaw has the potential of being a carry in this comp. Where for later turns, we can pick up the selfless heroes and then use the macaw to buff our whole board. We're still a little low in terms of like how many party elementals and Molten Rocks we found, so we're not going to level up yet. Bigger sample size needed. Agreed. It's also, yeah, I mean, on the surface, absolutely. Bigger sample size, period. We need more data. This is great. Do we take another triple? We really can't, can we? But we're still going to take that. Nothing here. And our party elemental. What are we going to cycle? We drop in a hangry dragon? We drop in this refreshing anomaly? I think we kind of have to keep it permanently now. It ate so many buffs early. So for this turn, this isn't that different, actually. Yeah, it's not that amazing. It's a 1/1 permanent buff difference to put the party elemental on before the hangry, but we sacrifice 4-5 total stats between those two. You guys in your Borat discussion? Watch it after you vote. Good civic duty, dude. Good civic duty. Oh, come on. That's not very good. That's not what I want. Look at that terrible distribution. Or terrible trade. Terrible trades. Worst trades. Actually worst trades. Like, holy shit. These are some awful trades. We got lucky and got the draw. Holy shit. At the end there. We're 20% to lethal. Alright, we can think about, at this point, with 3 party elementals, 3 Molten Rocks, we go to 3. I think we do. This is a premium minion to put on this board. Because now we can start landing buffs on Divine Shield. There's nothing there. There's an anomaly. Definitely worth taking. So we have 2 boards to look at for another one. Okay, game. Okay, game. This is why I hate going to 3. Like, we legitimately just rolled 7, or found 1 element, or 2 elementals on 7 boards. 2 elementals on 7 boards. Legitimately 2 elementals on 7 boards. And that's not an anomaly here. If you go to 3, your number of elementals drops per page you see. The difference is you get higher quality elementals. You want to find one of these guys, and we didn't find one early, so we couldn't leave it on the board. We tripled, what, 4 times? Didn't find a crackling. Alright, not the end of the world. We did find a macaw, but we're never going to get to the stage in this game where we want a macaw. Because we're not going to get big enough elementals to the point that, like, we want to Divine Shield party elementals in Molten Rocks. They're barely viable right now. Lucky us, though, nobody's hitting in this lobby, so this is great. Right now, this is basically the end of our power spike, right? We're strong until about turn 10. And this lobby went quickly, and that's a good thing. And we contribute to that. That's really the redeeming part of Aranna, is you help speed up lobbies and you benefit from fast lobbies. There we go. We got things this time. I mean, that's a lot of pairs that we can't work with. We need to keep us on the board. We don't have enough time, realistically, to do anything with it. I think we just put down this and we sit still for a turn and we try to triple into a 4-star next turn. It'll free a board space. If it's this one, I guess. Only. Beasts? Doesn't really matter now, does it? Mixed dragons. Well, we don't have to worry about much poison. We do have to worry about stat scaling. So, you know, if we were at this stage in the mid game, we would basically lose to the first guy that found a poison, because all he has to do is run a 1/1 into that, and it's like our board is really weak. But that's why we're playing this. Zephyrs would have tripled Pepe hands, yeah, but he wouldn't have this many minions on the board. Alright, we're running out of our power spike turns. It was a good first hit. And we went first, which was huge. So, while we're going to win this, this was a loss, right? This was one of our 2 losses. One of our 2 losses, on average, was right here. We take 10 to 18 damage. And we drop to within basically 1 death. So your window is basically, you try to live till turn 12 or 13. The fact that we sped up this lobby so much is huge, right? That's amazing. We love to see that. Bolvar? We're looking for Majordomo. Like, Majordomo is one of the best things to see at this point. Alternatively, there's one. So this guy, we don't need Divine Shields against this Omu. We just need damage up front, and a big Wind Fury is like fatal to him. Let's assume he loses though. We see this guy. Okay, same deal. Make this thing huge. So we're just done with the macaw then. Domo, please. Domo modegato. No domo. No domo for you. No domo. So like domo effectively stays on the board and buffs are shit, but by like 6/6 a turn, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Cobalt is a 3 attack buff. That's something, especially if it lands appropriately. You got the buff. That's pretty good. Second best, probably. This taunt being the best one, because it's weak. Jug is perfectly fine. It's a 2/2 buff. Outside of that, it's basically just Magedomo, right? Like, there aren't a lot of 4 stars we want to hit. Argus, I guess? Maybe? Wait, what happened? Why is he 1 hit point? Was he always 1 hit point? I'm confused. I just thought he was 1 hit point. I mean, he can't spam it more than once in a turn, though. I'm just getting confused, is more likely what it is. Do we have to worry about cleave? Yes. So we don't necessarily want this Argus. Actually, we want the Argus, because we want to target this 2/2 on this shit. Oh my god, game. I'm literally dumping all my stats on this board. That's what I wanted. We don't have 6 mana. I don't know why it's telling me I have 6 mana. Okay. And a beautiful snipe. He gets 1 poison off. Alright, 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 alright. Yeah, I think we just won one. Do we need more 2 fishes right statements in chat? 2 fishes right? 2 fishes right? 2 fishes right? No, I mean, this game went very well. No murlocs. I think Aranna is viable in no murloc lobbies. You saw illustrated the problem there, right? Which was a spore almost ended our run.